Hey, what's going on? I'm Quis here at Sports Vibes TV, and in this video, we're going to be looking at Tre Mann. Now, Tre Mann is a player that was brought in for workouts with the Knicks, so he could be an option for us at either 19 or 21. So in this video, we're going to get into his bio, learn a little bit more about the player, and we're going to look at his pros, cons, see how he can benefit the Knicks, and then at the end, I'm going to give you my SVTV draft rating. Now, if you like this video, do me a solid, smash that like button, and also make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on. That way you're notified whenever I drop new content. So with that being said, let's get into Tre Mann's bio and learn a little bit more about him. So Tre Mann, coming into college, was ranked at number 34 in the ESPN 100 for the class of 2019. He had a few offers, but he decided to sign with Florida. He picked them over Florida Tech, Indiana, and Kansas. Now, this is not his first time entering the NBA draft. He did enter after his freshman season, but after, testing the waters, he felt like it wasn't the right time, and he ended up withdrawing his name, going back to Florida, and he had a pretty good sophomore season. He averaged 16 points per game, had 3.5 assists per game, 5.6 rebounds per game. He shot 46% from the field, and he shot 40% from three. Now, he played 12 games as a sophomore for Florida, and he definitely performed better than his freshman season, and that's why he's being looked at now as a lottery pick. Now, to talk about Tre Mann and his pros, offensively, he's crafty, able to change pace, and that throws off the defender's timings, and that's what allows him to get into the paint and also do some damage from the mid-range. So he's able to create open looks off the dribble. He has a nasty step back when driving left, and that's how you'll see him create a lot of his space off the dribble. I think in the NBA, he'll probably be better shooting off the dribble than catch and shoot, just based on what his form looks like. But I think with his ability to score, he's definitely going to have a role in the NBA. Dangerous shooter off the dribble with deep range. He didn't do it too much in college. You're not going to have the license to pull from wherever, but in the NBA, it is something that he has in his toolbox, and he could use it to threaten the defense and create a lot more scoring opportunities for himself by pulling the defense out and creating space, and also for others. He can penetrate and finish or find open teammates, keeps his head up while attacking the basket. I think this was a very promising sign for Tre Mann. A lot of guards that I've been looking at, when they're attacking the basket, they usually have their head down and they have tunnel vision, a lot of them. But Tre Mann, when he's attacking, he's always keeping his head up, looking at the rim or surveying the court to see if any of his teammates come open. So that is something that I think was very positive looking at Tre Mann when I was watching the film. Now, with all prospects, they have their positives, but there are some cons, and the cons are what's going to force them to not be a bona fide top 5, top 10 pick. So when it comes to Tre Mann, the cons that I've seen in his game, needs to become a better playmaker and decision maker if he plans to play point guard. He averaged 3.5 assists during his sophomore season, but he also averaged 2.8 turnovers. So he's gonna have to cut down that turnover ratio. And I know I said that he dribbles with his head up, he attacks the basket with his head up, but sometimes his passing can be a little bit off point. Like, he'll find open teammates, but the passes tend to be off target and make finishing opportunities more difficult for his teammates. So he'll be able to find them, but because it's not in their shooting pocket, it's a little bit more difficult for his teammates to finish. So that's another thing he's going to want to improve if he's going to be a legit point guard, because right now he's being slotted as more so a 2. I mean, he's 6'4", so he'd be ideal size for a point guard, but at shooting guard, he'll be somewhat on the smaller end. So if he's able to develop that ability to be a playmaker, get better, more crisp passes to his teammates, I think he's going to be a dangerous prospect. Shot selection can be questionable at times, can be a streaky shooter. So yes, he has Steph Curry range, but there are times where he goes cold and can sometimes take questionable shots. And if he's able to get better at making the right decisions out there on the court, we're going to see Tre Mann be a player that, if he's not a starting caliber player, he's definitely going to have a role off the bench on a team in this league. Poor on-ball defender, biggest hurdle to consistent minutes. When it comes to the Knicks and him being on the court, I think he's definitely going to have to become a better defender, especially with Coach Thibodeau. So if he's able to get better in that department, sometimes he can make bad decisions going for steals. And I think him not being the most athletic out there allows him to be slower foot sometimes to allow guards to get past him. And he also has to bulk up. He's somewhat undersized. I think he's about 190, if I'm not mistaken. Does not have an explosive first step. That's another issue with his lack of athleticism. I won't say lack of athleticism, because it's not like he's somebody that, is running around like he's extremely slow or sluggish. He's just not the quickest. And when he goes to the next level, he's going to be up against way more explosive athletes. So that's not something I really see him improving on. He's just going to have to get more technical, better technique. If you're going up against people more athletic than you, you're going to have to be more technically sound in order to have an advantage or be able to compete. So him going with to the Knicks, being coached by Tom Thibodeau, I think is going to be good for him if that's the outcome that happens, because at least Tom Thibodeau, he's with a coach that at least defensively will have all the knowledge to instill in him or to teach him. At the end, it's going to be up to him to actually put it into effect. So those are some of the cons. Now let's look into the draft rating. So for Tre Mann, I'm giving him an 8 for scoring. He can go out there and get you a bucket. He is limited in some ways, but the ability to shoot, the ability to get into the paint, and also having that step back that he can go to in the mid-range, I think definitely warrants 8 for being a good scorer. Shooting, I'm going to give him 9 for elite. Shot 40% or over 40% in college or in the sophomore season from 3. Ball control, giving him a 7 average rating. And he doesn't have the tightest handle, but he's not a terrible dribbler. Playmaking, I'm going to go with 6. He's going to have to get better both in pick and roll situations, making the right decisions, and also having better passes that hit the target where they need to catch the rock. Athleticism, giving him a 7. He's average, has average athleticism. Defense, giving him a 6. Something he's going to have to work on, especially if he's going to have a coach like Tom Thibodeau, because if he's not up to par defensively, Coach Tibbs is not putting him on the court. Rebounding, giving him a 7 average. Potential, giving him an 8. If he's able to work on his defense and become a better playmaker, then I think the sky's the limit for him as a point guard. I think him being a 6'4" point guard is definitely going to give him an edge, especially if he bulks up. So potential, I'm definitely going to give him a 8. So he has good potential. Size, giving him a 7, average size. If he's going to play point guard, then he has pretty decent size. But like I said earlier, if he's going to play shooting guard or if he's going to be a combo guard like that, he's going to go up against taller guards. So at that point, he's going to be, average size at 6'4" if he's going up against, some of the 2s in this league. RJ Barrett is a 2 on this team, and he's 6'6", 6'7". So durability, giving him an 8. There was some injuries here and there, but nothing to really concern you. So I'm going to give durability an 8. And that's going to give an overall rating for Tre Mann at 73. So let me know down in the comments, do you think Tre Mann should be the Knicks selection at 19 or 21? Do you think he'll even be available? Could we be surprised and see Tre Mann get selected even higher? It remains to be seen. I would be okay with the selection, but personally, Tre Mann would not be my first choice. But I can see why fans, I see what fans can see in him. He does have a lot of tools that could be very useful on this team. We definitely lack scoring, and his shooting prowess, his ability to score in the mid-range and get to the paint are things we could use on this team. So once again, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'm Quis, host of Sports Vibes TV, and I'm out.